Hi, I'm Sticko. Co-parenting is like juggling chainsaws, blindfolded, while your kid throws Cheerios at you from the high chair. I'm a parent. I'm tired, and I just had a 45-minute conversation with my ex about how to handle a preschool snack schedule. No, I'm not proud of it, but hey, it's co-parenting. Picture building IKEA furniture with your ex. 3 screws missing, no manual, and they're wielding the Allen key like it's a hostage swap over whether it's low-sugar granola or just sugar in a hat. And just when you think you figured it out, your kid decides now they only eat cucumbers cut diagonally. Co-parenting, the sequel nobody asked for. So if you're co-parenting, let me tell you, you're not alone. We've all been there, fighting over whose turn it is to pick up the kid or debating whether it's worth starting a small civil war over which cereal is best. But here's the thing. Co-parenting doesn't have to be a daily battle for dominance. It can actually be manageable, or at least mostly manageable. By the end of this, you'll have 5 dead simple tactics to stay sane, avoid drama, and maybe, just maybe, not argue over fruit snacks. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Talk like grown-ups, even when you don't feel like it. First things first, co-parenting is basically a full-time job in itself. And communication is key. But here's the fun part. Sometimes the only thing you and your ex can agree on is that the child should definitely not eat chocolate before 10 a.m. Beyond that, it's like trying to decide whether the sky is blue or personally offensive. The conversations can get complicated, confusing, and honestly, just exhausting. But the thing is, if you're not communicating, then you're doing this whole thing wrong. I've learned this the hard way. There was this one time when my co-parent and I spent an entire weekend arguing over how much screen time was too much for our kid. I mean, really. 2 adults, late 20s, early 30s, fighting over a tablet like it's some kind of political debate. But here's the thing. The fight wasn't about the screen time. It was about how we were not communicating about what we actually needed. In that moment, it wasn't about the child. It was 2 exhausted adults projecting stress into a snack time argument. It was about our own insecurities, frustrations, and lack of clarity. That's where things get messy. So yeah, I get it. You may not agree on everything, but you have to communicate like adults. And don't pretend texting and vague, we need to talk later messages are enough. If you can't have a grown-up conversation in person, at least pick up the phone or hop on a Zoom. Don't worry, I know it's painful, but you'll survive. You're not trying to win any arguments, just trying to make sure your kid doesn't end up with the weirdest snack schedule ever created. Chapter 2. Compromise without crying. Too much. Here's the thing about co-parenting. You're going to compromise a lot. And not just the I'll give you the last slice of pizza kind of compromise. I'm talking about deep, emotional, frustrating, make you want to pull your hair out kind of compromise. I remember one moment in particular after a heated back and forth about when to celebrate my son's birthday. We were split on whether to do a big family party or keep it small and low-key. I thought, hey, let's just rent out the entire ice rink because it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and my kid is worth it. Cue the eye roll from every parent who's done the whole one-up birthday thing. My co-parent was not into the idea. Apparently, low-key meant something different for them. So after about 30 minutes of brainstorming, we ended up compromising with a birthday party at a local bowling alley. It wasn't what I imagined, but it worked. Bonus, no tears, no ice-related injuries, just me crying over the bill. Also, if this made you nod, laugh, or mutter, yep, been there, hit subscribe. Sticko needs validation, and possibly a lawyer. So yeah, compromise can be hard. It's not just about giving in for the sake of peace. It's about finding common ground so that everyone's needs, including your child's, are met. Sometimes that means doing things you're not super excited about, like those mini bowling pins and balloon animals, unfortunately. But you're a grown-up, and your kid's happiness is more important than your Pinterest board-level dreams. Remember, compromise doesn't mean losing your own desires. It means finding a balance. Chapter 3. Your way, my way, kid's way. Okay, now let's get into something a little trickier. Respecting each other's parenting styles. This is where it gets interesting, because just like no 2 kids are the same, no 2 parents are either. One of you might be super strict about routines, and the other might be more go with the flow. Guilty. One of you might stick to a super healthy diet while the other one is more ice cream for dinner on Fridays. Whatever it is, if you don't find a way to respect each other's styles, you're gonna run into conflict. I'll admit it, I've had moments where I've definitely judged my co-parent for letting our son stay up way too late before school day. Like, way too late. But then I had to take a step back and remember, we each have our own methods, and that's okay. As long as the kid's not bouncing off the walls at 3 a.m., I can let it slide. That's the key, finding a middle ground. Maybe a bedtime compromise can happen where both parents get some sleep, maybe not. But it doesn't matter if one of you is a gentle parenting aficionado and the other is more of a tough love type. What matters is that you're supporting each other's role in your child's life. And honestly, there are times when you'll just have to agree to disagree. Maybe one parent is okay with a little extra sugar and the other isn't. Or one of you wants to enroll the kid in every extracurricular activity, while the other prefers a more relaxed approach. As long as you're both willing to give and take, it'll be fine. Just remember that respect is key. You're not raising a mini you, you're raising a whole human who benefits from both your weird parenting styles. If you can't respect each other's differences, that's where the problems arise. Chapter 4, when it's not about you, even if it feels like it. This is a big one, and I know it sounds obvious, but sometimes it's hard to remember when you're in the middle of a post-divorce, pre-parenting discussion. It's about the kid, not about your issues, your ego, or your frustrations. This is where the biggest challenge comes in. I know a lot of people will say, oh, it's all about the kid's well-being, and sure, that's the easy part. But it's really hard when your co-parent says something that sets you off. Suddenly, you're not thinking about the kid's well-being. You're thinking about how you can get them to agree to your perfect plan. But here's the thing. You need to step back. Take a deep breath. Every conversation about your kid doesn't need to become about your past relationship or your current grievances. In fact, none of them should. Your child deserves to have both parents in their life without them feeling the emotional tug-of-war of grown-up drama. I get it. It's hard. It's hard not to bring up the fact that your co-parent always forgets to return the kid's favorite stuffed animal or never remembers to pack an extra pair of socks. In those moments, it's easy to let personal frustration slip into the conversation. But here's where the science kicks in. Children of divorced or separated parents, especially those exposed to ongoing parental conflict, experience emotional and psychological stress. Studies show kids exposed to constant parent conflict are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop anxiety or behavior issues. They hear everything, even the sighs at drop-off. And don't think whispering in the garage counts as stealth mode. Kids are basically emotional surveillance drones. One of the best lessons I've learned about co-parenting is to keep the focus on the kid. And let me tell you, it's not easy. But every time I remember to take a step back and let go of my personal frustrations, it makes things smoother. That means no backhanded comments or under-the-breath snipes during pickups. Just be a grown-up. Use your public voice even when no one's around. Not for you, not for your ex, but for your child. They deserve consistency, stability, and peace of mind. And that starts with you and your co-parent putting their emotional needs first. Ultimately, your child doesn't need to see you and your co-parent as enemies or have their childhood shaped by unresolved conflict. They need to see you both working together as much as possible for their well-being. Chapter 5, you're not failing, it's just Tuesday. You're probably thinking, this all sounds great, Sticko, but am I supposed to just magically do this without exploding on my co-parent every time they get something wrong? And the answer is, nope. I'm not here to tell you that co-parenting is a walk in the park. There'll be moments where you feel like you're losing your mind and the whole thing is just, well, a mess. But I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. The first time I had to pick up my kid from a second daycare because my co-parent accidentally missed a notification, I almost lost it. But then I reminded myself, we're both trying our best. We're both learning and we're both doing this together, even if it's a messy, bumpy ride. So cut yourself some slack. Celebrate the little wins. Conclusion. Co-parenting isn't easy. I mean, there's a reason it's considered a life skill we're all learning on the fly. But with clear communication, respect, compromise, and remembering to actually focus on your kids' needs, You can make it work. Don't expect perfection, but do expect growth for both you and your child. So here's the cheat sheet. Talk, compromise, respect, focus on the kid, forgive often, repeat. Co-parenting isn't perfect, and neither are we, but showing up, that's the win. If you've ever argued over fruit snacks or survived a birthday planning summit, hit like and subscribe for more Sticko. We co-parent and we cope. We rebuild the IKEA chair, one emotional screw at a time. And no, we still don't know where that extra leg piece goes.